All right, y'all. Here I am on the Mothership, and we're going to discuss. The topic was open marriage, but what we ended up talking about was divorce. I came on to straighten out. A brother came on before me saying that divorce was a cop out for anybody who went that road, and so I wanted to address that, and that's what I did. So let's take a look at me on the Mothership.
What's going on, brother Clarence?
What's going on, brothers? How y'all doing this morning, man?
Not much. What's going on?
All right, and yourself?
What's happening, big brother?
Nothing much, man. Heard y'all talking about this topic. I wanted to just stop by real quick, man, and throw my 2 cents in. Uh, I heard the brother earlier saying that divorce was a cop out. I disagree with that because sometimes divorce can be a mercy to the other people involved. If you have a marriage that's very, very miserable and very abusive, divorce might be a way to um, give mercy to the people that's actually involved, the children and other family members that's involved. So I wouldn't say divorce is you copping out because of divorce. Is a case by case situation. You know what I mean? In my opinion, you know what I mean. I am for marriage. I've been married a long time myself, so I'm for marriage. I think men should ultimately, if they have the opportunity and the mindset to do it. But I think a lot of our young men are going into marriage not knowing how to go into it, not knowing how to pick the person, not knowing how to look at their life, examine their lifestyle, examine the kind of woman that they're picking. And then they get into it, and then it turns into a problem. And then they say, oh, these women are so bad. But what ends up happening is you divorce one and you pick the same woman in another form. You know what I'm saying? It's basically the same woman in another, color birthday suit or whatever, right? So I think that, divorce will answer some questions. It's hard. I'm not saying everybody should do it, and I'm not saying we should do it for selfish reasons, but there are some points and times in marriages where divorce is a mercy, just like slavery is a mercy. Instead of killing everybody that you just overran their country, you take the women and the children hiding under tables as slaves and let them work their way into freedom, into a new society. Or at least that's what the Africans used to do. But anyway, that was my point on that. I don't know if anybody has some pushback on any of that.
I don't think marriage. I mean, to say it's not a cop out, it would have to be for specific reasons. But I think majority of the time, I think it's a cop out.
Why so?
Well, I think majority of the time people give up, or people think got to be perfect, or they're
Now, take into consideration this brother Sway. Shout out Sway. Shout out to Sway. This brother's 23 years old. Never been married. Really doesn't know what he's talking about. Really, he's talking from the knowledge that other people put in his head. All right, but let's let him talk, and we'll see where it goes from here.
leaving for their own selfish desires. They're not holding themselves higher than themselves, like the family or like their kids. They're kind of doing what's make them happy. So I think holistically, most of the time, it's a cop out. But there are specific times where I think, like, say the man is going crazy, he just bucking whoever and getting babies or getting diseases, like on the woman's ends. I mean, yeah, you should divorce him. And then if she's over here doing some, either spending all your money or, having sex and getting, like, there's certain things, but those are the extremes. But I think majority of the time it's a cop out.
So you don't think that misery is a reason to walk out of a marriage? If you're miserable and she's miserable, say
There
it's
won't
just
nothing about happiness in them vows you took.
So basically, the young brothers say, if you're miserable and she's miserable, and you are abusing the children emotionally with that misery, you should stay in there. Right? That's basically what he's telling me, right? Okay, let's see where it goes from here.
And if you ain't ready for that, don't take them vows.
Let me ask you a question, brother. Do you think that the misery that you are displaying to the children can negatively affect those children even into their adult years?
The misery
Good question, right? That was a pretty good question, if I say so myself. That was a pretty good question. Now, let's see what the young buck got to say about that.
is the I blame the men if that's the case. You're saying the whole miserable. If your household is
Okay, let's just take note. He never answered the question. He never answered the question. He just decided to start talking about something else. Classic Lapeef show tactic. Classic Mothership tactic, right? He never addressed the question I asked him. He just started talking about something else. Okay, classic.
miserable, that's on you as the dude. You're not running your house. You're not checking everything. You're not on your purpose. Something is wrong, and I'm thinking more so on the men. If you so damn miserable,
Facts.
if everything is so miserable in your house,
Okay, of course, Anton comes in and says facts, right? This is one of Anton's puppies. He's trying to make sure nobody. I'm not trying to get his puppy. I'm just trying to get him puppy to open his mind. This dude is trying to reinforce the puppy, saying facts to him. Go, 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 right? Even though he don't know what he's talking about, no experience, probably no book learning, probably nothing but videos from different people that espouse this type of mentality, right? Unfortunately, not the reality. Is a narrative that's been torn up, been put out there, right? But I just wanted to show that Anton was trying to keep his puppy fighting, right? Okay, so let's keep going. Let's keep going. Shout out to Anton. Shout out to Sway. Let's keep going.
then it's more on you.
Facts.
It's not on anybody else. Get your shit together and get your life together. And then if your girl sees you got your life together and you're on your purpose, she should be down and happy. If she respects you, she should be cool. If the kids see you doing what you got to do, paying the bills, you're not out here drinking and doing all this hot weight, craziness, you should be fine. You're talking about.
You should be fine. What are you talking about? People change, things change. What are you talking about, man? Marriages change, man. People walk in the house and be like, "Hey, guess what? I was in a grocery store and I ran into my true love. I want out of this marriage." That can happen. I don't care how good you treat somebody. I don't care how much money, how much you're on your purpose. Ask Jeff Bezos. Ask Bill Gates. Ask Elon Musk. All of these guys are divorced with billions of dollars in the bank, and they still getting divorces. Ask Dr. Dre. Ask Dr. Dre. Ask Megan Good's husband. Ask Mary J. Blige's ex-husband. Ask Wendy Williams' ex-husband. Sometimes it don't matter. It don't matter how good of a guy you are. It don't matter. Some of these women are not going to follow your program, period, the end. And they will act like they will. They hide for 10 years. They hide for 5 years. See, the young buck don't know nothing about that. They'll hide for 5 years. Your woman, you ain't going to really know the real woman until about 10 years in. That's when she's going to start farting in front of you. That's when she's going to start leaving the bathroom door open. That's when you're going to have to help her clean up, throw up, That's when all that stuff's going to start happening. You're going to have to take her to the doctor sometimes. She ain't going to move. You have to fix her meals for a week. Plus go to work, plus take care of the children. See, all that stuff's going to happen. All that stuff, see, you guys got to watch who you're taking advice from. You got to watch who you're taking advice from, because you take advice from the wrong person, you end up in a ditch. You end up in a ditch. And then the person that gave you that advice, they're gone. They're gone. They're in a ditch somewhere themselves, right?
Them being unhappy or you being unhappy, you're probably unhappy about the stuff you haven't accomplished or you think you could have done or whatever it is, and you're taking that on other people.
How old are you, Sway?
What is this dude talking about? What is this dude talking about? So let me see if I understand. So if the woman goes and does something, I'm taking out my because I didn't do something on her, and now she's upset with that. That's a possibility, but that's not most. The reality is anything can happen. Anything can happen. And you better focus on yourself and your own mental health instead of saying, oh, I know this person ain't going to leave. You don't know what another person's going to do. You don't know what the lead attorney tried to tell Anton Daniels. And you don't know what somebody else is going to do. You don't know. They can be with you for 20, 30 years. I told you guys one time I had a friend, I knew this sheriff deputy, LA County Sheriff Deputy, walks in from the youngest boy's high school graduation and says, hey, I got a girlfriend. I'm leaving. 29 years married. I got to go. The wife had no clue. No clue. No clue. She had no clue. She was not even prepared for something like that happening. But what I mean when I say be prepared, I mean, things happen. People can change. So you got to be ready to keep your own self healthy. All right, let's go.
How old are you, boy?
I'm 22. I turned 23 in January.
You speak like a 50-year-old man, my friend.
That's what my girl said too.
I'm 53. He's not speaking like a 53-year-old man. I'm 53 with 32 years of marriage. So he's definitely speaking like someone who hasn't, who stood outside the water park talking about how fun the water park is.
So, Brother Clarence, wait. Hold on.
It's fine. He got his opinion. I got mine.
Hold on, Sway. So, Brother Clarence, you think that it's okay to go back on your vows to death do us part for better?
That was a good question. Do I think that it's better for you to go back on your vows? Yes. If you're going to abuse someone, yes. If you're going to abuse the children by watching you guys stay in a miserable marriage, fighting all the time and abusing them emotionally, yes. Let's see what I said.
For words?
Sir, I don't. No, sir, I don't. So let me qualify what I'm saying. I'm saying that you have to go and see. The problem with marriage is marriage is dynamic. It changes. People evolve. You think marriage on the first day is not going to be like on year 50. It's not. It's going to be evolving, constantly evolving. You're going to constantly have to be checking your partner and making sure they're okay and seeing which direction they're going. If they're going in a errant direction, that's when. Now I agree with Sway on this one. You have to check and see which direction the person is going, and then you have to decide. Okay, can I lead that person back? If they can come back, then cool, we can stay together. But
they should be on your direction. If you don't have direction, is when they try to find their own shit. If you got direction as the man and the leader, your girl can see that and she will hop on board. The only time they try to digress, if they feel like whatever you're doing is going to put harm or discomfort to them, is when they start.
See, now he made a blanket statement. He made a definitive case. The only time they will leave is if they don't see a direction in you. That is not true. That's a lie. Go find a lead attorney, and I bet you he will agree with me 100%. That is a lie. They can leave for any number of reasons, let alone that. That's also a reason, but they can leave for a multitude of reasons, brother, that have nothing to do with you. Nothing to do with you and how you're leading. Nothing. But you guys listening to guys like this, walking in blind. Then you listen to a guy like this who's he got lucky enough to find somebody who he, was able to go through this married life with and get to this point. Kudos to him. But he's trying to make a unicorn, leave the regular horses, go out to Montana and look for a unicorn. And don't, you got good stallions here, but leave them stallions alone because it's a unicorn out there somewhere. You passing up all these good horses. But anyway, got to watch who you listen to. You listen to Anton about making money. Listen to JR about making money. Sway, I'm sure he's good at something. But marriage advice is definitely not it. And Anton, marriage advice, definitely not it. JR, marriage advice, definitely not it. Definitely not. Don't listen to these guys on there, or you're going to be sitting in the family court crying your eyes out. And they're gonna say, what happened? It's all your fault. You didn't do something. When marriage doesn't work that way. Not always. Yes, some guys make mistakes and don't do what they're supposed to do. But in a lot of marriages, you can't say that's 75% of the situation. 75, over 50% of marriages first-time marriages are ended in divorce. You can't say 50% of men are out there just clueless, walking blind. No, there's some alpha males in there, and they're getting walked out on. There's some big ballers out there. They're getting walked out on. Ask Jeff Bezos. Ask Bill Gates. Ask Elon Musk. These people are leaving them. Ask these men who have to deal with these women who change their minds for any number of reasons, let alone bad leadership. Any number of reasons. But hey, what do I know? I just got 32 years. He got 0, and this dude got 17. Max. Together, they got 17 years of marriage life in married experience in them. But what do I know? Let's move on. Let's move forward.
Start questioning you and start trying to go different paths, or they're bored or something, like I said. But if you are stimulating her enough where she has stuff to do, if she got a job, that's fine, or she taking care of the kids, that's fine. But to say that
just because a woman's got something to do you think that they're not going to go, they're not going to get off track sometimes? That's what I'm saying, man. These people not being realistic. You think you're going to spend 20, 30 years with somebody and they're not going to get off track every now and then? Or once or twice? Come on, man. See, they being disingenuous to you. And they're giving you bad advice. If you listen to these guys, you'll end up crying your eyes out in the family court. I can't promise you that you can't be in the family court, but what I can promise you is if you listen to me, you'll have the least amount of chances of being in the family court with crying your eyes out. You might have to go there. She might want to divorce you, but at least you won't be there crying your eyes out because she won't be able to steal you. She won't be able to, just drain you dry because you went into the marriage, like this. Oh, it'll never happen to me. I'm the man. Ain't nothing gonna never happen to me. You know how many dudes sitting right now, it's Sunday. You know how many dudes are waiting to go to family court tomorrow to get cleaned, their clocks cleaned tomorrow? And they thought they was the man. I got the magic stick. I'm the man. I'm this. I'm that. I lift weights. I'm in the gym every day. Yeah, and your wife is down at the family court cleaning your clock. See, it don't matter. None of that don't matter. What matters is you got to constantly check in. You got to constantly, hey, baby, how you doing? You got to make sure that we on the same page all the time. You can't say, oh, I know for sure my wife ain't going to do this. And then, they clean your clock. One day they come in the house and say, I can't do this no more. I've been hiding this for 10 years. It happens to the best of them. That's why what you should do is just be ready to be able to keep your self-respect by don't be afraid to walk away from somebody who's bringing harm to your life. That's all I'm saying. Or bringing harm to your children's lives by making you stay in a miserable marriage. Some people ain't never had to witness that, so they don't understand how horrible that is to watch two people that once loved each other and then they trying to kill each other. They're trying to tear each other's guts out. And you saying, hey, you should stay in that situation because you signed that document. No, you shouldn't. Not if you're abusing the children emotionally and you're abusing yourself emotionally. What about yourself? But see, watch who you listen to. Watch who you listening to. This is the kind of stuff, this is the kind of advice you getting on the mothership. This is the kind of advice you getting on the mothership. So you need to pay attention. All right, let's go.
It's not a cop-out to leave most of the time because you're quote-unquote unhappy. I mean, there was nothing about
you disagree with that, Clarence?
Why are you happy? Why are you unhappy? That's my biggest
disagree thing. With it being unqualified. If he would qualify it by saying, I disagree. I disagree with people leaving just because they're unhappy. Everything's good, everything's great in the marriage, and the only reason why you're leaving is because you got a dude at work that's better looking or whatever, and is trying to get at you, and you finally say, you know what, I'm just gonna go for it because in that type of situation, yeah. But to just say this is the only reason why your woman's gonna leave is because you got an issue. No, I disagree with that. I disagree with that. And if you guys going into marriage thinking like that, that's gonna really.
I've been married for a long time, and I think that it falls at the top, and it's based off of leadership.
Well,
Okay, so when did I say it didn't fall under leadership? So now you're gonna watch. This is what they do on the mothership. They don't discuss what you said. They create new arguments. When they find out they can't go no further with what they put out, and I put that fire out, they start another fire somewhere else. Right? Classic Lapeef, classic mothership tactics. Okay, let's see. Shout out to Anton. Shout out to Sway.
it is
I agree 100% with what he's saying.
it is based off of.
Bad advice. He just said he agreed 100% with this young man who has zero marriage experience, zero. He just said, this man, Anton Daniels, just said, I agree 100% with what this man with zero marriage experience said. Also, that it was 100% wrong. I'm telling you, it's wrong. I've been married 32 years. I got more. I've been married longer than this man's been alive. But, you know what I'm saying? This man got 17 years. He's just getting started. Just getting started in the game at 17 years. Congratulations, brother, but you just getting started. But you got to look at the advice you getting over here. Look at the advice you getting over here. Pay close attention to that. You got to pay attention. You got to pay attention to who you listening to. Because you listen to the wrong person, they can lead you down the ditch. And then you be sitting in the family court crying your doggone eyes out, saying, what happened? Is Anton going to be sitting in the family court with you, holding your hand while you crying your eyes out because you can't see your children no more unless it's supervised or every other Saturday or whatever? And you get to eat dinner with them, like the lead attorney said, you get to eat dinner with them on a Wednesday night from 3 to 5. You don't even get off till 7. How's that going to work? Is Sway going to be there with you? When you think, hey, I don't have to, all I got to do is lead. And then if I lead, this one will never fall apart because I don't have to check in with this lady. All I got to do is show her, be an example. And you be the best example you can be, and the thing still falls apart. Now what's the problem? It's your fault. Something's wrong. You ain't leading right. I gave him plenty of examples of men that were leading right, and the people that was following them left them in the bag, left them high and dry. They didn't want to hear it, right? Okay, let's finish up. Come on.
Leadership, but things can happen. A person can get in this world where there's so much evil out there, they can get distracted by the evil that's out there, and before you know it.
But isn't provision and protection part of your protection as a man is to remove all of those distractions and to put your chick in a space to where she's not in those spaces in the first place?
How are you supposed to do that? So basically, you're going to have her just sit in the house and wait until you get home? How is she not going to see people out in the street? She's going to have to shop. She's going to have to go do things. She's going to have to do things, right? Are you going to be with her every time? What are you going to do? Leave your job to come be with her every time she leave the house? What the hell are you talking about, man? Yeah, your job is to provide and protect. But only thing you can do, like God, just say a word. That's all you can do is put the word out there. The person going to have to choose to follow it. You don't do what God say, and don't no big hand come out of the sky, and smack you on the butt. You either do it or you don't. Same thing in a marriage. Ain't no, what you gonna do? Follow this person around? Put a tracker on her? You're gonna put a tracker on her, then you're gonna go through her phone, then you're gonna go through her card, then you're gonna go through her purse. You're gonna get tired of doing that every day. I mean, and then she's gonna get tired of you doing that to her. I'm not saying you can't trust nobody. What I'm saying is you should always be prepared. You should always be prepared for somebody to turn hypocrite. People can turn hypocrite overnight. Elijah Muhammad said, we could turn hypocrite overnight. Overnight, you could turn hypocrite. Anybody can turn hypocrite overnight. I don't care. They've been with you 20 years, 30 years. That's why you got to constantly check them, check them, check them, check them, check them, check them, check them. Because as soon as they go out that door and they go out into that world, they can succumb to their lower desires if it is something that is really something they really want, and they might not even consciously know they want it. Oh man, whoop, right over y'all's head. Y'all didn't even hear me though. All right, let's continue.
I mean, because I've never heard a leader say but.
But you can only teach the willing, brother. I mean, if she's not willing to look at it that way,
But why wouldn't?
Why would she be your wife?
Hold
if
on, Sway. Why wouldn't she be willingly submissive if you the leader of your household?
because people change.
That was a good question. That was a good question. That was a great question. Now let's see what I said to it.
Brother, things change. People can change, rather, I should say. People can change. You could be a good leader, but people change, right? Jesus took all these dudes, healed all these people, man, and they still, hey, kill him, right? The people let him get killed, right?
No.
Now, wait a minute. That was a perfect example of it not being on the leader and not teaching a good program, pushing a good program. Any people can change. We love you, Jesus. We love you. We love you. You're the man. Teach us more, Rabbi. Teach us more. Right? Teacher. Teach us more. Teach us more. And of course, they, they let Pontius Pilate have him. He asked him, "Are you sure?" Yeah, we want the robber. Give us the robber, not Jesus. Give us the robber. But I came back and I gave him that, right? So now this man is saying, hey, that's not the same situation because it's not a man and a woman. Okay, so let's see how it developed after that.
I'm talking about women and men.
But I'm talking about how people can change under leadership.
Who changed? Nobody changed that. Nobody changed when it came to the crucifixion of Jesus.
Okay, now I'm telling you, right? Nobody changed, right? Peter said, I'll never leave you. Right? Peter and Paul, I'll never leave you. I'll never leave you. Who? Somebody's going to betray me. What? Who? Tell us who, right? Not me. I would never do nothing like that. Peter, right? See, you're going to be the one to do it before the cock crows 3 times. Right? I don't know what I'm talking about, man. I don't know what I'm talking about. You the Christian. Let me leave you alone, man. Let me let you go.
Everybody did exactly what they were supposed to do. Nobody.
That's what I'm saying. But they was like, I'm with you no matter what, right? Until that part came. That's what I'm saying. They didn't go into it with vows. We talking about going into it with vows. Vows are the seatbelts for when things get bumpy in a marriage, right?
No.
And I'm with that.
All right. So vows are when I said vows are the seatbelts when things get bumpy in a marriage, right? Right? Most of the time, you in a marriage, you don't need a seatbelt, right? You only need a seatbelt when you hit a crash, when you hit something go wrong, right? That was the analogy I was using, right? And he didn't want to let me set that analogy up. I mean, it was crazy. It was crazy. But let's get to it.
No,
Okay.
they're not.
They're not.
They're not.
What's the vow for?
The vow is your word. As a man, you making a commitment before God in front of witnesses because that's the contract that you're making along the way. It's not a seatbelt. A seatbelt, listen,
So he tried to complicate the situation, right? He knew what I was getting at, but now he's trying to say, "Oh no, no, that's a commitment before God. The vow is a commitment before God." Really, maybe so, but the vow is to the person, and God is the witness. You ain't vowing to God; you vowing to this person before God. God is just another witness to this situation. I don't know, man. Maybe I'm talking crazy again. I'm talking crazy again. Hey, they got it all right on the mothership. They got it all right. I'm the one that's crazy. I'm the one that's crazy. But for fun, we'll finish the video for fun.
The seatbelt don't protect you from dying.
Now, when did I say anything would protect you from dying? What does that got to do with anything I was saying, right? But see, this is a tactic on the mothership. They would just change the subject. I'm talking about this, and now you just changed it to that, right? But that's okay. Your little brother kept up with him. I ain't let him go out like a pit bull on that ass. I kept right on with him.
It ain't a seatbelt. It's a commitment. It's a covenant.
Wait a minute. Nothing's gonna protect you in a marriage. When you sign a marriage certificate, look on there. The word guarantee is nowhere on there.
We're not talking about guarantee, but at the same time.
Wait a minute. You said it's a covenant. You're not supposed to break a covenant. You're supposed to be guaranteed that somebody's going to do what's in that covenant, right? Am I right? See, they rolled up against a real one. You ran up against a real one. See, you can talk this stuff to these 22-year-old dudes that don't know shit, but you can't talk it to me. Player, you can't. Player, me and the lead attorney, we will stomp you out talking about this stuff like this. I mean, figuratively, of course, brother. I don't, we just talking here. We just have debating. I actually like Anton. I like JR and Sway. He's a cool dude too. All these dudes were pretty cool. But I'm just saying, in the debate, in the arena of the debate of what we talking about, you can't. You think you can get some of me, man? Come on. I will stomp you out. You only got 17 years. That's all. And everything's been all good up to now. You can't. You talking to a real one, bruh. You talking to a real one. If I ain't been through it, gone through it, or heard about it or seen it, it ain't happening. I done did it all. I done seen it all. Bro, you talking to a real one here. But anyway, let's let it go.
Again, I don't say but, it's and. I solve for the problem. I control what happens in my marriage and my household. It's not even up to her. This is a
See, now lead attorney already told this dude that you can only control what you can control. You can't control your woman. You can't control your daughter. You don't know what they doing when they ain't with you. You don't know what they're doing when they ain't with you. You can't control these people. Only time you can control them is if they let you control them. If they decide that they're not going to follow your instructions at some point, ain't nothing you can do about it. And this happens every day. People be down with the program and they say, you know what? I really ain't feeling this marriage. I want out. What? Why? I don't know. I just want out. What you gonna do? Now you gotta go hire lawyers, pay $10, $12, $15, $20,000 in lawyers' fees just to split everything up. Uncontested. Contested can go way beyond that. Way beyond that. But listen to these dudes, man. These dudes will tell you how to get your cranium cracked, as they say in the street.
a dictatorship. This is a benevolent dictatorship. This is not a partnership.
But I'm not disagreeing with that.
But my point is that I don't make excuses. It's black or white for me.
So now I'm making excuses because I'm telling you the reality of how stuff works. I'm telling you the reality. The reality is, at some point, this may happen to you. This may happen in a marriage. This may happen in a marriage. The person just lose interest, right? It could happen. It happens to a lot of men, especially with women that get gotten married early, right? But you guys telling these men that, oh, that's not, you shouldn't look into it like that. You shouldn't be prepared for that situation. Bad advice they're giving you here.
Me, I'm never on the fence. I'm never in a gray area, and I'm never middle road. Either you win or you lose. Either you're the man that you're supposed to be or you're not. Like, I believe that being successful in anything requires you to be definitive in what it is. It ain't no but. It ain't no choices. None of that.
We agreed there.
So why do you disagree with Sway?
I disagree with him because he's not qualifying what he's saying. See, in a marriage, just like business, you go into a business with a partner, and the partner says, "Oh, don't worry, we're going to split this money the way we," and then you go into the business, and some kind of way the partner goes astray or does something. Or
but this is not a partnership.
Hold on.
But it is. The state says you're partners. You go into the state, you sign that marriage certificate. You and whoever signs that marriage certificate, you are telling the state, we're one person now. We're going to effectively operate as one person. So whenever you see one name in any type of business situation, you'll see the other name will be just as responsible. That's what you're telling the state. It is a partnership according to the state. See, you lying to these people. You lying to them. You lying to them. And these dudes are going to listen to your advice, shuffle off into marriage like they have not a care in the world and not be prepared to be able to defend themselves if something happens to them. And guess who ain't going to be at the family court when your children getting ripped from you? This man is not going to be there. This man is not going to be there. This man is not going to be there. When they ripping your children away from you and they telling you, and you been able to be with your children every day of the month, and now you can be with your children maybe 4 days out of the month, and not even 4 whole days out of the month. Are they going to be there sitting with you crying with your eyes out? Huh? Better listen to the old man telling you what you need to do. What you need to do. Be prepared for any eventuality. Be prepared for any eventuality. I've been married 30-something years, and I just be the best. I constantly try to improve myself every day and try to improve the people that want to be improved around me. But when I see a person around me that doesn't want to be improved, I try to put them in a position where they have to go. I try to put them in that position so they can leave. But what if it's your wife? See, your wife, you got to take extra special care trying to bring her back into the fold. But if she don't come back in the fold, she don't come back in the fold. It's okay. Let's sit down. Let's look at our options. Where can you live? Where can I live? What can we do? Let's work this out. But you got to have balls to do that. You have balls to look in the future and say, this may not work out. You got to have balls to do that. You can't just sit around hugging, the trophy from, 3rd grade saying, man, I'm still the best saxophone player. Now, you're a grown man. You might not be the best saxophone player now. But you have to be willing to see that option so that you can do something about it. You can do something about it. I'm not telling you to expect divorce. You should just be prepared for it. And how do you do that? Come talk to me. Come talk to me, and I'll tell you how to prepare for it. These guys ain't telling you. These guys walking you right down into the family court. This advice they're giving you, I guarantee you listen to these guys, you'll be in family court inside of 10 years. Absolutely. Absolutely. Absolutely.
My thing is, I put more responsibility all the way back to you doing business with this person. That's what I'm saying. I chose this woman. It's my fault now. I'm supposed to be the leader. I chose her.
Agreed.
It's just the same way you chose to do business with that person and he did whatever and messed you up. That's your choice. That was your choice.
Agreed.
You could have chose not to do that. There are a lot of signs that you can see before you get married to somebody.
Not a lot. Not a lot. There's a lot of signs that you can see, and there's some signs you won't even see because she won't even see them. They're dormant desires. They're dormant desires. And you won't even be able to see them because she won't be expressing them until she gets squeezed by the pressures of her actual marriage for at least 10 years or 7, 8, 10 years. Those things won't pop out because they ain't conscious in her mind. You don't hear me, though. You don't hear me. Listen to these young bucks. These young bucks that have you. These young bucks is going to have you in family court crying your goddamn eyes out. And then you're going to say, you know, I should listen to Brother Clarence. I should listen to him. At least I would be here. He may not have been able to stop the family court from coming up on me, but at least I would have been prepared for it. I would have been much more prepared for this situation than going into it saying, I got the magic stick. I ain't nobody else going to be able to run no program on my woman. Maybe, but maybe not. There's a lot of guys getting dressed. There's a lot of guys laying out their clothes right now to go into the family court tomorrow morning to get clobbered because they thought like this. Anyway.
You can say, this ain't it. But a lot of guys
Agreed.
are desperate for poon and they don't think they can get other things or they don't want to keep trying. Like most men don't got an abundance of women just ready to throw themselves at them. So most men got to take what they can get. So,
agreed.
I mean,
but I'm saying
I put more responsibility on the guys than I do
marriage.
anything.
Most guys get married for two reasons. Two reasons are most, in my opinion, they get married because the woman can maintain a high level of sexual tension in the relationship to make them ignore the red flags that they're seeing. They will discard the red flags because the woman is able to keep the sexual tensions very, very high, right? In that case, like you said, it's our fault, right? We followed the sexual tension down to this road. Now what are we going to do? Okay. Then the other circumstance is when they do see these red flags, they don't address them. They don't address them. Like we said, because I agree with you guys. It does take leadership. You have to go in but the problem is, like you said, most guys ain't willing to say, okay, well, if you're not going to stay on my program, hey, let's go our separate ways. Let's go our separate ways. But see, most guys ain't willing to do that. Why? Because they got a steady stream of sexual attention coming their way. And
that doesn't disprove what I'm saying, though. That even more proves what I'm saying, that it falls more on the guys in the end all be all. Because if
wait a minute, proves what? What was he saying? I already agreed to the fact that he said that if you choose a woman and you see stuff out of order and you choose to go that route anyway, and by just ignoring it, that's your point. We already know that. I already agreed to that. We already said, yeah, that's our fault if we see a problem and we ignore it and we keep on going because we get all caught up on the sexual attraction. Of course, that's our fault. That's how most men, I would say that would probably be about 80% of men that are married. That's how they get caught up. They ain't marrying a woman because she's a good person. But he said, I prove his point. What point? He didn't have no point. This guy's 23 years old, doesn't know nothing, man, pulling everything out of his ass. With, all due respect, shout out to Sway, shout out to Anton, shout out to JR, and shout out to the rest of the panel. But you listen to these guys gonna have you in family court.
If you're choosing the woman to be your wife, at the end all be all, you have control over who gets married. They got control over who has sex and kids.
I disagree with that. Well, I didn't get a chance to get at him about that. No, you control who has sex. You control everything. But Anton didn't correct him on that one, right? You control everything. If you really in the seat of power, you control everything. You control marriage. You control sex. You control everything. It runs the way you set it up. But I didn't even catch the youngster on that one. I didn't even want to break that one down to the young. Well, I didn't want to. I was busy trying to understand where he was coming from. But like I said, the youngster was coming so hot, he wasn't really thinking about what he was saying. But that's what happened when you run up on a real one. See, a real one's gonna be on that ass like a pit bull, right? All right, let's finish up.
So if you're gonna marry a woman, it's gonna all fall on you. That's my thing. It's gonna all
I agree. I agree with all of that. All I'm saying is that sometimes there are going to be unforeseen circumstances that you may have to deal with in a marriage that doesn't reflect on your leadership. It's just that the woman or the other person may have gotten distracted by some other issue, and then are you able to pull them back into the loop? If you can, you can. If you can't, you can't. But that doesn't that doesn't mean necessarily it's a reflection on me. If you don't want to roll with my program no more, cool. Adios.
I agree with
That's
that.
it.
All right, brother Clarence. Thank you for calling in, brother. Thanks for your support.
Thank you, brother. Come on.
All right. Dr. H19D. I know you.
So this brother's gonna come on and back me up a little bit. So I'm gonna let him play a little bit.
It was Cam.
Dr. Hood, what's going on, bro?
Okay.
Now I was doing my little morning thing. I didn't want to be on the, with the cam on. But how y'all fellas doing?
Doing fine. About yourself. What you got for us?
I'm pretty good. Now, me, I like to, independent thinker. I think OG was on point, to say the least. And Sway, he seemed like a cool dude. He on the right path. And, if you, just like anything else, taking care of your body, sports, anything, if you stay on it at a young age and nurture, everything that you're doing, of course you're going to have a great outcome. But, 22, 23 is a little young. And, I think OG was speaking more to the experience level that you got to have to be able to, speak. I mean, he got the information. You could tell, and he's listening. But OG, things can happen between 23, 33, 43, like a lot of things happen that, you really can't control.
Shout out to the brother, DRH19D. Shout out to the brother, man. Shout out to that brother. Because that was the only brother that I heard actually step in and, agree with the stance. Even though I think most of them felt it, they didn't want to go against Anton, which I understand. It's a little echo chamber that got up in there, and I wasn't supposed to get through probably. But anyway, let's because JR said something that was really you talk about some bad advice. JR really gave some bad advice. Let me scoot it up here. Okay, this is where JR made a huge mistake, in my opinion. I'm gonna let him play it.
Class, like,
all right, y'all. We're about to ready to end the show, but before we do, I think I just want to highlight this real quick.
Appreciate y'all, man.
I appreciate you. Dr. Hood, you did say something that we all here to learn and everything, right? I just would rather push the narrative of the men leading with the understanding that this is not going to happen. If we lead by saying it's the possibility, then I don't consider that being, I mean, you understanding in the back of your head, you may think that, but I don't think you should be speaking that out loud. I think you need to have control and say, this is not going to happen. This is what I'm not going to allow to happen. So that's just my take on it.
I vehemently disagree with JR. I think that you should see, this is why you have a prenuptial agreement. You talk about this stuff in the beginning. You talk about it in the beginning, man. You don't let this stuff fester. And then now you hit with it. Now you got to go to the family court and scramble trying to find a lawyer to try to nail some of the stuff down. And you trying to you got to try to make agreements when somebody's not in their right mind, when they're trying to leave a good relationship or a relationship that may be serving them, but they too blind to see it. Huh? We don't want that. What do we want? We want the people, we want a woman, we want to be able to acknowledge that things may go wrong and be able to put, a smart person puts things in place just in case, right? You store water, you can't say, oh, well, I live in Los Angeles, and they always saying an earthquake is coming. That's why we store water, we store food, because you never know. You got to at least have a couple of weeks of food and a couple of weeks of water stored up, because you never know what's going to happen. You never know what's going to happen. Got to be, you know what I mean? You know what I'm saying? You got to be prepared. And these cats are not preparing you. These cats are going to send you to the family court. You listen to these cats if you want to. They're going to have you out in the family court crying your eyes out. You're going to be moving. You listen to these cats, you're going to be moving back in your mama's basement or in your mama's attic. And it's not your fault. It's just that's the way it goes, because you wasn't prepared. You didn't go into the marriage prepared for any eventuality. But if you talk to somebody like me, I can help you. These cats are sending you to the gulag, man. Anyway, that's my opinion. What do y'all think? Am I right? Is the mothership right? Is the echo chamber right? You're right, Anton. No matter what you say, you're right. I just got on to say 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 you're right. You're right. We all can say you're right all at the same time. Let's go, guys. You're right, Anton. Right? You can go in that echo chamber if you want to, but I'm telling you, you're going to get you get these guys giving you bad advice. Listen to JR about money. Listen to Anton about money. Young brother Sway, I don't know. I'm sure he's good at something. Listen to him, but marriage, no. These guys cannot tell you nothing about marriage, and if you listen to them, you are a fool. That is my opinion. That is my opinion. But anyway, y'all tell me what you think. And no, hey, shout out to Lapeef. Shout out to Sway. Shout out to Anton. Nothing, hey man, there's no beef or nothing like that. I just disagree with them. And don't do the black thing. Just because I disagree with them don't mean I hate them and I want them to lose and I don't want them to be. I don't hate none of these guys. Actually, think they're all pretty solid dudes. Everybody on the panel that I listened to sounded pretty solid. So I don't have nothing. No, I just disagree with them. I disagree with them. So it is what it is. Anyway, y'all tell me what y'all think. Never be the aggressor, brother. Peace.